And then there's a series of events, around 2017, 2018, with me meeting the right people, with me getting in the right type of communities, with me being exposed to true successful men, men of faith, men of God. And then my life changed on October 22nd, 2018, when I was saved. And that kind of was the beginning of this new journey that I've been on. So, the first 34 years of my life, high achiever, athlete, great student. People told me like, you can do anything in the world, like school, like you have all these amazing capabilities, but I always like had this like barrier, and it was my own self that would keep me from really hitting that major success. And then around 34, I get exposed to these new circles of people. I begin to see success through a different lens. I surrender my life to Christ, and then 4 months later, I come face to face with the biggest, darkest secret that I've been holding forever. So February 14th, 2019, which is ironic that it is Valentine's Day. It's the day of love. I was in a long-term relationship at that point, and I'd already kind of been wrestling with the idea. I'd listened to a couple podcasts about it. I saw some TED Talk videos. I kind of starting to dive into the science of what's actually happening in your brain. And once again, just kind of by chance, I was in the right opportunity. I was at the right place at the right time. And I felt the calling at the moment that I just needed to share kind of, what I'd been wrestling with internally with somebody else. So this was after a workout with a very close friend of mine who's a Marine. He's a military man. We were just having a conversation, and out of nowhere, he brings up, the topic of pornography and his struggles with it. And, I look back now and obviously, I see God's hand kind of working in all of this, because had he not opened up, I probably wouldn't have said anything. But by him sharing first what he had struggled with, and it's something I highly respected. Like I said, he's a Marine. He served our country. He was in Iraq and Afghanistan. But for him to say, you know what, man, like I've actually had this issue and it's something I'm working through. It's almost as if like I now have felt the freedom to talk about my struggles. And the fact that I'd already kind of been wrestling with it internally, like it was fresh and it was there. So I told Zach that day, yeah, man, I've struggled with this for 20 years. And we had a deep, intimate conversation about it. And I told him right then and there that I was ready and that I wasn't going to allow it to be a part of my life anymore. And there were a series of reasons why back then. The reasons that I've remained clean have evolved and changed. But a lot of it was because I had an amazing woman in my life. And we had discussions about what future looked like, and if I was really going to pursue that with her, like she needed to know the truth. So that kind of began, this journey of me just kind of opening up and really sharing, my secrets and vulnerabilities. So the next day, when I returned home, I shared the whole story with her. I literally ended up like ripping a laptop apart right in front of her because I had a secret laptop that was only for porn. And I'm like, just so you know, like this is where I watch porn. I'm so committed to this, like I'm going to destroy it. And right in the middle of the conversation, I pulled I literally ripped the laptop in two pieces. And then I went on, and I shared it with a couple of friends of mine. And then, the next 3 months, it's literally my world changed. What I began to see changed. And now I understand that there was all this kind of neuroscience stuff kind of going on behind the scenes, literally rewiring my brain, which is, a lot of the work that I do now. But when I got like 2-3 months, out of it, and I felt this sense of freedom, and I saw the world differently, and things became brighter. And it's like, then another call came, and it's like, okay, Frank, like if you've been studying human performance and psychology and personal development and self-growth, and you've been able to achieve all the things you have, yet you still had this issue, imagine all the people that haven't studied everything that you have. What are they struggling with? How deep has it gotten for them? It's like, Frank, you just need to put this story out into the world, like not to try to sell anything, just share people what you've gone through, because you hold a level of authority. You have people that follow you. You have an email list of over 10,000 people that read your emails daily and then buy your fitness products. Like you're an authority. So just share this and just see what happens. So this got us to the point where I launched the podcast. I've been running a fitness company at the time. I was working in a marketing agency. And the podcast started as really just kind of, really a passion and something I wanted to put my story out into the world. in the first couple episodes, I'm interviewing my friends, like all podcast people do, talking about what they've had to overcome, because it started with my struggles with addiction. We went deep into a lot of different people's struggles with addiction. But what ended up happening, within the first couple months of the podcast, I was recognized by Apple. We knew noteworthy. Podcast took off like right away. It was amazing. But the messages that I started to receive from men, because like I said, I'd been an online fitness guy. Like I'd been helping people build bigger bodies, build bigger muscles, improve their squat, improve their exercise. So the messages changed from like, thank you for the fitness stuff. Thank you for helping me add 10 pounds of muscle, to thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for talking about this that most men aren't willing to talk about. So at first it was like a praise for what I was doing. And then quickly it was like, can you help me? And at this point, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can help you. Like I just was able to do this, through having the right people around me and understanding human nature and psychology. I was like, I don't really know. And then I was at a business event. This gets us to like early 2019, right before, or 2020, I'm sorry, kind of right before COVID kind of hit. I'm attending a business event here in Clearwater, and they're teaching a tactic, just to kind of test to see like if the people following you like are interested in what you have to offer. I say, hey, you know what? Like, I love what he's sharing here. I'm like, let me just take what he's teaching here and let me just see if people, would be interested in maybe a coaching program. I don't know what the coaching program is going to do. I don't know how long it's going to be, anything. But I just literally I'm sure anybody who's seen like those Twitter looking Instagram posts, I literally took that and I said, I'm looking for 5 guys that are tired of their secret with pornography. I'll personally coach you, send it. Within an hour, like $3,000 in my bank account. And that's when it was like, wow. Okay, Frank, like there's something here for you, like pursue this. So I left the marketing agency, literally walked away from a 6-figure position over there. Didn't fully shut down my fitness business, but took a lot of time away from it and said, I'm going all in on this. And this was right around the time that COVID like hit the world. So, I left a secure job to start a new business as the world was getting shut down. Not a great piece of advice for people, but very fortunate it's worked out pretty well in my, my favor. But yeah, for the last, 16 months now, my primary focus every day has been helping men overcome their issues with pornography. So, create a lot of great content, a lot of video content, obviously the podcast, we had Johnny on, we're still doing amazing conversations, but I've really been focused on understanding addiction, understanding porn addiction and what it does to the brain, what it does to the body, what it does to relationships, but then figuring out like, what are the solutions for men? And that's where I've now built a company, Rebuilt Recovery. We've taken, roughly 1,275 men in the last year, through our courses and programs to begin to build a new life. Now, not every guy has like fully free. I've personally coached about 100 men, like in a one-on-one capacity. And a lot of those guys, like that's where the real success comes. Like when you get into a structured program, you get some accountability, you start taking steps, like, and it's been amazing, like obviously I'm incredibly grateful and blessed just to have the opportunity to do what I do. But when I see these men's lives change over the course of 16 weeks, when I see them, rebuild their marriage or reconnect with their wife, or just rewrite their own identity, how they see themselves. That's probably the biggest problem is the men that are struggling with this, like the view of themselves is so low, that a lot of the work that we have to do is just kind of rewriting the identity at which they see themselves through. So yeah, I know that was long-winded. I hope it made somewhat of a sense. But I'm a recovering porn addict, former bodybuilder, entrepreneur, that's trying to change the world.